Chandler's question is up next. He says, my company matches 61 cents on the dollar up to the max on my 401k and Roth 401k. Should I still focus on getting the full company match before I focus on paying down debt or funding my HSA?
Wait a minute.
All right, so I want to follow.
Wait a minute. There's got to be a catch.
61 cents on the dollar up to the
That's
max.
60 up to the maximum.
So,
Up to the
So
max, it
22,500.
well, that was last year's max. Max this year's 23,000.
Oh,
So
I live in the year of the past. You get to an age, you just start living in the past.
It was
All right,
close.
so $23,000 is the max salary deferral, and if that's going to be a 61, you get 61 cents on the dollar. $14,000 employer contribution. Is that what we're saying is going on
That's
here?
what it
This
appears
sounds
to be. That
like
is what he
give
has
your
written out.
employer a hug today. I mean, man, I tell you what, if you work at a place that gives you a 61% match all the way up to giving you $14,000 and you're trying to pay down debt that's probably at 3%, go spend that energy hugging your employer, being like, man, this person prioritizes my financial independence and retirement. There's got to be a catch because most employers are not that generous, but if they are, kudos to you.
So here, I want to make sure you get the question. Should I still focus on getting the full company match before I pay down debt, fund my HSA? I mean, if you, tell them about the thing. Tell them about the thing.
There is a great resource. If you go to moneyguy.com/resources, I mean, let's go through this. Okay, we want step one, got to have your highest deductible covered. That makes sense. That's so you don't make desperate decisions later. But then you get to step two, and you're like, wait a minute. Step two, employer match is before high interest debt. And I've heard high interest debt, credit cards, they're charging like 30% right now. These guys must not be good with money
math,
because and I'm telling you, no, we're really good at math because if you have an employer that's giving you 61 cents on every dollar you put in, that is a 61% rate of return. That exceeds the 25% that even credit cards are charging. So you want to lean in on that. Like I said, hug your employer today. It is a celebration moment because that person is very generous as in investing in your future. Then you pay down the debt. Then you put your emergency reserves at 3 to 6 months. And then now we get to step 5 where it's tax-free growth because it's still sexy, it's exciting, but it's definitely not better than 61%. That's awesome.
Generally speaking, if you can go out and get free money, whether it be through an amazing employer match on your retirement plan, or maybe you have an employee stock purchase plan that you can take advantage of, when in doubt, go get that free money. And Chandler, that I don't know that I would give you so much hug your employer advice, but go tell them thanks. This place is awesome. What a cool benefit that you guys provide to us.
Whatever. I'd go in there crying.
Do you know what one of the comments
those would be
said?
happy tears.
Can I tell them what Jake's comment said? Jake said, warning. Do not hug your employer if you work at the Money Guy show. Brian, ... not a hugger. That's a pretty good point.
I know.
That's a
For
pretty good point.
a non-hugger, you talk about hugging
For
your
a
employer a
non-hugger,
lot.
you're just throwing those hugs all out there.
Yeah, I don't hug a lot.
You're everyone's employer here. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I don't even. I get uncomfortable when Bo walks around giving everybody high fives. So maybe
He's
symbolically, I want you hugging your employees because it's true. I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite. I'm talking about hugging your employer. Say thank you to your employer, but I don't like hugs.
What a turn that took.
it back.
I don't like hugs. I put myself. I was like, yeah, I don't like it when
What would
people
you do,
hug
Bob?
me.
Everybody just came and gave you a hug on the way in.
I don't like it.
Oh,
I've got a whole
they were
group of
just like,
friends.
Brian,
I know
thanks
they're
for
gonna
being
hug
such
me,
a
so I
great
side
employer.
hug them. I give them the side tap.
Oh.
Give them a little hip. Hip action, but I'm not a big hugger.
Chandler, that's awesome. If they match you all over the match, that's awesome. The other thing I would do is I'd go read your SPD, summary plan description, or maybe the annual notice. Make sure you're understanding that right. Make sure that your match is in fact what you see, because it's not uncommon for us to see a 61 cent on the dollar match up to 5% contribution, or 6%, or maybe even 10% contribution. But going all the way up to 23,000 is pretty remarkable.
I would. That's the only thing I worry if there's some fine print somewhere that's missing, because like I know one of my neighbors worked for a Fortune 500 company, and when he first told me his match, I was like, man, because he's like, my employer gives me 100% match, and I was like, man, that's strong. I was like, what's the limit? And he's like, 4%. And I was like, okay, that's pretty standard.
that's
that's
dollar for dollar, 4%.
So it's just not as big of a deal. But if you go all the way up to 23,000, that's
big
strong.
time.
Yeah, that's
Big
really
time.
strong.
Honestly, it's probably good feedback for you too. Like, hey, double check and make sure that's really what it is, because that is really good.